Hello, my name is Danielle Devers, and I'm an instructor of multimedia journalism at the University of Montevallo. And today I'll be speaking about how you can build news literacy within your classroom. How do you teach news to students who don't actually watch the news? This is the problem faced by many broadcast journalism instructors around the country, with a growing number of students not actually watching television news. As a former broadcast producer, I found the problem very interesting, given that my students wanted to work in local television news, but didn't actually watch it. So my goal was to build an exercise that forced them to watch news, but in a way that would help them in their career. So I drew on my professional experience within the newsroom when my news director would walk into the newsroom and ask, "What's going on in the world today?" And journalists everywhere would have to come up with a pitch in order to be able to keep their jobs. So that's really what inspired the Newsroom Huddles exercise for my introduction to electronic reporting class. My lab meets once a week for 2 hours, and the first 15 minutes are dedicated to this exercise, which helps them build on their assignments for the rest of the semester. In this exercise, I'm the news director and my students are professional journalists, and we are working on what stories that we want to follow through on for that evening's newscast. So I simulate a newsroom huddle by asking, what's the news of the day? Stories can be from current events, but they have to be something that we could feasibly put on our local newscast by that evening. Sometimes I wait for volunteers. A lot of times I have to call on people, but overall, all students are expected to have a thoughtful answer in order for them to get their participation points for the day. The students are required to bring in story pitch ideas. They found that they couldn't just bring in one because the student sitting next to them would inevitably pitch their story, and they needed to have backup ideas. You had to convince me, your news director, of why your story mattered and why it should be put on air, which forced them to learn the news values and really learn how to apply them in their pitching skills. Later on in the semester, we built on this by having them talk about what sources they would use, where they would get video, and other things. And students were asked to evaluate their fellow students' pitch and ask them questions about them as well. In order to track the progress of these newsroom huddles, I implemented a current events quiz, 5 questions, 5 minutes, but unfortunately on that first day, my students didn't do so well. In fact, only 1 out of 15 was able to list 5 things going on in the world that week. And 10 out of 15 students thought that the Amazon fire was taking place at the Amazon shipping facility. Not great for budding journalists. But after implementing newsroom huddles, they were able by midterm and final class to be able to effectively understand current events and apply them regularly. They also felt better prepared for their career to be able to pitch within an industry. And they said that they changed their news viewing habits and became news addicts because of this exercise. We had a news director actually come to our classroom as well, and he was so impressed watching the students do this newsroom huddle that he said he would not hesitate to hire these students either. A great compliment for these sophomores and juniors. If you have any questions about how you can implement a newsroom huddle to build media literacy skills, please feel free to contact me at the email address below. Thank you. Have a great day.